going to resume the recording, and Mike Morelli, change role, post. Okay, now you'll see, if you have your, do you see now where your participants are over to the right? You'll see your name and it says host.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think you guys are all set, unless you have any other questions.
The only question I have right now is I'm looking at the participants and I'm seeing caller in user 3, and the second one says caller user number 4.
Yeah, well, some people dialed in as well. So number 3 is Roberta Lewandowski, and she's going to also try and come on her iPad.
Okay.
And then caller number 4 was Gary, but now he's also on. You can see him down at the bottom of your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and that's why people will want to identify themselves before they speak. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody good? Am I okay to go?
Yes. Thank you.
I'll stay on as long as you need me. So.
I think we'll handle it. We can handle it.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Good night, everybody. Have a nice
Good night.
evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, is that you, Liz?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? It's good to see you. Glad you made it.
Shorter chair.
Oh, Mike, you're on mute.
Am I off of it now?
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I think most students like me on mute.
You may want to go up to the corner and click on the little white dot and it'll put the agenda out.
Alrighty. Alrighty, we have 6:46. We'll start the call to order. We'll have roll call. I imagine everybody just sing out. Is Julie?
I'm here.
Okay. Alrighty, we have this is getting Tracy's here. Molly, Megan, Harry, Julie, Carmen.
Hi.
Here, Gary's here. Gio,
And Roberta.
and Roberta's here also on the telephone. Okay.
And Mary's
Correct.
here.
And Mary McGrattan.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to, also, Liz Crutcher is here from Signage.
oh yes. All right.
Hi.
Alrighty, welcome.
It's a good thing you guys didn't plan the outside meeting because it's raining. In Marlboro, anyway.
An approval of the minutes. Has everybody had the opportunity to read the minutes of our last meeting on March 10th?
This is Roberta. I make a motion to approve the minutes for March 10th.
Guys, have a second?
This is Molly. I second it.
Alrighty. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposed, I guess the motion carries. I guess I'm supposed to say it's my correspondence is next on the list. I have been to the town hall on a number of occasions. There has not been any mail except for the Connecticut Wildlife Magazine. Nobody seems to have found any mail for us. Next agenda item, public comments. Is there anybody? Any public comments? No, already. Next agenda item, informational items. I have a couple of things I've noticed. Joanne Holmes' term expires this month, and she will not reapply. So she will be resigning from the Conservation Commission. I've been up to Whitehall, and the paths are being mowed. The agricultural land that's attached there, the farmer has opted not to use it. In the future, we're probably going to have that brush hogged also. The Ledyard Fair Association has a proposal of purchasing a piece of land that's going to be used for the Ledyard Fair in the future. I believe it's at 95 Gallico Road. That's a farm that's adjacent to the Highlands, across from, let's say, the Burton property. Does anybody else have any information to share?
I have some information to share.
Excuse me? Julie?
Yeah, this is Julie Woody. I to share that Avalonia finally closed on the Atkinson Durham properties.
I saw that in the New England Day. There's an article there about that.
That's very exciting, Julie.
Yep.
I'm just glad it's done, sort of done.
Next, I guess, would be old business, property walks. I noticed that Megan had written up something of a state of some of the properties. Did everybody get that email from her with the list?
This is Roberta.
Yes, I did.
I think that she did a great job.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, thanks. I took kind of what was like trail needs that were mentioned from like just previously mentioned and just put them in one document. I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's, I think, a lot of willing people in town who would like to volunteer and help out. And so I think it'd be great to kind of match like those opportunities with the people who want to volunteer. So I'm hoping this is a step in that direction to make it easier for people to do that. The first step anyways.
This is Roberta. Just having people know how many properties there are and where they are is a big step to begin with.
This is Mary. Are you talking about the trails when you say properties?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
From a number of, this is Roberta, from a number of comments that I saw when Julie sent them all to us from the community, a lot of people made comments that they never knew those trails existed.
Mhm.
Oh, Roberta, are you talking about the Hike Ledyard survey responses?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So because of those responses, I think it's worth it to be able to keep involving more town people in whatever we're going to do, because they become more aware of even what's out there that I think a lot of people don't even know about.
Yeah, I was hoping to go into the survey responses more when we get to the Hike Ledyard program.
Okay.
So, but I'm really excited to talk about that.
All right, this is Mike. I'd been up to Whitehall, and like you said, there was 3 trees down. I noticed 2 of them gone. They've been removed. The really big one that's overhanging, that's something I'm going to have to tackle soon. That's going to take a little bit of chainsaw work.
Okay. So, this is Megan. Sorry, Mike. Did you say that 2 trees had been removed, but 1 tree that was overhanging still needed to be removed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Hey, this is Gary. Hey, I was, just so you know, I obviously walked the glacier, which still looks good. In fact, I saw the email on that too, but there's, there's like, I think there's like 2 or 3 spots where some of the bark came off of a couple of our markers, but it's still in really good shape. So that was the glacier.
This is Mike. Does anyone have any ideas how we can get volunteers out? I mean, we've number of times we've had some events and posted it, and nobody showed up.
This is Megan. I do have an idea. One is the Ledyard. Well, I have a couple ideas. I think we really would need like someone to like a person to kind of like be in control of matching, like, I don't know, a designated person in charge of like organizing volunteer activities. We could post the activities, or excuse me, we could post like we could take the needs and turn them into volunteer opportunities, post them on the website and say, if you're interested, please, email Mike or, the specific person. I thought maybe we could also post in Ledyard Events magazine. Just, if you're looking for opportunities, check the website or reach out to this person. And then this is a few months ago, I started a Facebook group called Hike Ledyard. I'm excited about this. So a bunch of people with the interest in hiking Ledyard. It's not associated with the Conservation Commission at all. But that group is now, I think, up to like 100, I don't know, it's more than 100 people. And so thanks. Posting it in that group too, I think would be good. But those are a few ideas.
This is Mike. The ideas are very good. I love to hear that we've got 100 people interested. Who are you going to nominate to be the point person?
Whoever wants it. If someone would be interested in taking the trail needs and like, I don't know, chunking them into volunteer opportunities, or like maybe divide them up, say like, blazing, here are all the blazing opportunities, or like, trail work, here's all the trail work opportunities, or like signs, here's all, those opportunities. I don't know. I don't know.
You could take that on. I've done volunteer coordination before. That wouldn't be a problem.
Yes. Thanks, Hillary.
You're welcome.
No,
Yeah,
thank
this is
you.
Gary. I think that would be a great idea. I think you get a lot of people, especially in this climate right now. I think you get a lot of people interested in it. But I agree. I think you got to go across, multiple platforms and create a buzz. So having a couple people to really kind of push that, one in general and whatever, I think that would work really well.
I think the other thing to tap into is service learning. Everything's up, as you all know, everything's up in the air with schools right now. But I think it's probably fair to say that at least a substantial number of kids who would normally be going to school, their parents are probably going to keep them home this year at first. So there's going to be a lot of high school age kids whose parents may be, who may be looking for like a service learning opportunity. So I think those sort of panicky homeschooling families might be interested in tapping into that kind of outdoor opportunity. They won't be panicky while they're with us, but I'm projecting the parental state that we're in a lot of the time. But anyway, it might be worth cross-posting to things like the PTO web pages to let people know that those opportunities exist. Because connecting with some young people who might if they're an environmental club at Ledyard High School, they might be totally stoked to come do a trail cleanup or something like that.
This is Megan. I think that's a really good idea.
This is Mike. Megan, you'd said that you had a Facebook page for the hike legend. Could you post it? Who our contact person is?
Yeah, is that okay with you, Hillary?
That's fine with me.
All right. And are you on Facebook? I can't remember.
I am.
All right. So is it okay if I make you an admin in that group?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'm a member in there, so
okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Easy enough to do.
Okay. Thanks, Hillary. I'm
You're
excited.
welcome.
And then since we're going in this direction, I know it's really easy to email, I forget who it is, the person responsible for updating the website. So Hillary, I can send you the contact information for the person who updates the website, and so you can take the trail needs list and post whatever of that you want on the website, or however you want to do it. But I'll send you that contact information.
All right, sounds good.
This is Mike. Does anyone have any other ideas that we could put this out to for the volunteers?
Maybe Parks, this is Roberta, maybe Parks and Rec would post it under something on their scheduling. Or when they do their outreach stuff, in the community. Do they have a separate page? Even on the town site?
Yes, they do.
Just some blurb like if you're interested in town trails, here's the place to go to get involved or something like that.
And also, could we ask maybe the mayor to post something about it in his Facebook page? He shares news about the town in general and all about that. So maybe he could share something in his page about this.
This is Mike. Doesn't Linda Davis have a Facebook page?
No. So,
I think it's, yeah.
Linda has the Ledyard Community Resource, but the mayor has his own page. He's called Mayor Fred, and he shares news about the town, about even Connecticut. So he shares news about everything, and that's an independent page that is run by him. So maybe he can also post about this and share about this in his page. Reach out to him and ask him.
Linda Davis is in charge of it used to be called the Ledyard Community Forum. It's now called the Ledyard Community Resources, and I'm sure that would be something that she would post.
Yeah.
This is Tracy. So usually if I post anything on the LCC Facebook page, Linda has no problem sharing it to the Ledyard Community Resources page too. I just need sort of all that information to be able to put a post on there, and then she'll share it to the community resources for us as well.
Come up with something, I can get it to you to share there, and that might be the best way to get it to the.
I'll make a list of all the forums and groups and everything that we can think of that we have in Ledyard. And I'll send it to you just so we make sure that we don't miss any of them, and then maybe we can post them in all of those pages.
This is Mike. All sounds good. Sounds good. I think we're well on our way. Any other ideas?
This is Megan. I think also just having it in the Ledyard events magazine when the next issue comes out, I think in September, and so the date for when we have to get it in would be in August. I think shortly after our next meeting or around there. I'm not sure how to find out what the date would be for getting stuff into it.
Mike, yes, it would be in that quarterly magazine that comes out. Also, when we get down to trail maps and hike legend, is be something to be all included in that when we get down to that next topic in the agenda. Alrighty, under old business. Trailblazers and the LCC maintain trails. I realize we haven't done any blazing. I realize we do need some blazing. And now that we're starting to maybe get a program together to get some volunteers, we can actually get the rest of these things blazed.
This is Megan. About trailblazing, I did have one suggestion, and maybe this would be related to what Hillary does as part of like volunteer efforts or outreach. Instead of having the latex or oil-based paint, I think oil-based spray paint would be better. less messy and easier to work with.
Okay.
This is Gary. Now you say that. I got pretty messy.
Excuse me.
Roberta, how much paint do we have left? Does anybody still have paint?
We do have some blue and yellow paint. We're getting low on well, yeah. I mean, it was just a small I don't know the size, but it was like a small canister of yellow paint. And it's like, I don't know, we maybe have like a third left of it. And I don't know how full the blue paint is, because I haven't used that.
So rather than buy more can oil paint, maybe that's time to make the transition, to try the spray.
Definitely a lot less messier.
You might get more volunteers to do it.
Alrighty, this is Mike, and that's what we'll do. When we start to get some people together, or somebody's interested in blazing some trails, I'll pick up some spray paint.
Do we have a list of the trails that need blazing, or is it all of them? At least I went to Avery Farm and Glacial Park, and they seem pretty good to me. But I haven't gone to some others. So is it all of them that need blazing, or just a few?
No, this is Megan. So Carmen, did you get the Ledyard Trail Needs document that I sent out maybe a week or two ago?
I don't know. I gotta look.
Okay. So there are 13 trails in Ledyard that we're talking about, but they're managed by like 7 different organizations. So like Avalonia, they blaze all of their trails really well.
Yeah.
But the thing is like any maintenance, like that's not on a trail that's not owned or like maintained by Ledyard Conservation Commission would have to be done in, you know, conjunction with the managing organization. But if you look at the trail needs list, the majority of the trails that need work are managed by the Conservation Commission.
Okay. Okay. I'll search again. Sometimes I get like 200 emails in one day and it's get lost. But I'll look through.
All right, this is Mike. Let's get to the one that we all want to hear about, trail maps. Megan?
Thanks. So thank you, Liz, for your patience. This is Liz Crutcher from COG. She has been working so hard to get all of these maps up and looking so good. And I just wanted to know how much I and the rest of us appreciate all of your hard work on this. I looked, and this was something that we started like over a year ago in April of last year was when Liz Burdick kind of connected us and we got the ball rolling. And it's took a while. We're at the end. The light is at the end of the tunnel is in sight, and I'm really excited to be at this point. So I sent everyone the link to the shared folder last week with all the drafts in it. Not now, Patrick. Go talk to Dad. Sorry. So all drafts of the 13 trails were in there, and you guys sent me some feedback, and I passed it back to Liz, and I think they all look good, but would love to hear anybody else's comments on it. And also, right now, we're just working on finalizing the town-wide map with all the trails, and Liz, feel free to add anything if you'd like.
I don't. You guys are here to give me feedback, whatever you know you want to. You see that might need fixing. I'm continually finding small things that I'm, you know, updating, and so just let me know what you need.
This is Roberta. Should we go through Megan, or is there a way we could contact you directly?
I think it's probably better to go through Megan since she's the person I've been dealing with all along.
Okay.
Yeah. This has, I will put in, this has been like the most fun project that I'm working on this year too. So I don't know if Megan told you, but I'm an avid hiker. So I'm very opinionated about trail maps. So I did a trail a couple weeks ago where you guys were talking about blazes. My friend and I, we got horribly lost a couple of times because we'd come upon a blaze and there'd be a tree with a right-hand turn and a tree with a left-hand turn in the same 5 feet or something like that. So it's a topic that's pretty close to me.
This is Mike. As 30 years as a navigator on a ship, I appreciate your work on maps. That accurate.
It's been fun. Thanks.
No, it was a very nice job. It's a very nice job. And yeah, I'm looking forward to when we can finally put it out to the public.
So tonight, I think if possible, I don't know if we need to like take a vote on this, but I'd like to officially accept all of the drafts of like the 13 trail maps. Since everyone's, we sent it out and I hope everyone got a chance to review those. I think they look great and are done. And all that's left to do is the town-wide map, which Liz and I were going back and forth on that today. And then also we're having Liz do a sign that we could then send to Tony from Fast Signs, and he'd print it up and use that as the Burton sign trailhead. map.
I was I was going to talk to Megan a little bit about this with the online map. I don't know. I should have sent this these questions to her so she could direct this, but there's certain things that I can do with the online map, and I don't know. Has anybody had a chance to look at it? So basically, it's a it's a lot of the maps, interactive maps you see now are using the the software that I use, which is with Environmental Systems Research Institute. And so like a lot of, for example, the pandemic maps that you've seen, a lot of those are using the same software and platform that the interactive online map that I developed uses. One of the things I'd like your feedback on is whether or not you want, there's an opportunity when you click on a trail or a property there's a pop-up box that shows things like acreage, the trail name, and things like that. But I can also put a link to a photo. So if there's one specific photo for the trail that you want to show there, but I don't have a lot of photos of the trails. So if you guys had something really nice that you wanted to put in that link, there's an opportunity to do that there.
So that would be a place we could put, like if we had a list of landmarks to look for on each trail, we could link to pictures of those, or
maybe like one or two. I don't know if you wanted, if the list could be as extensive as like 5 or 10, but maybe 1 or 2 landmarks that you wanted to link to that are important to the trail. Yeah. But just something to think about if you guys have all collected, your favorite spot of the trails over the years.
Yeah, this is Megan. Thanks for bringing that up, Liz. I kind of forgot about that. And there were a few other attributes that I thought could be good to include after getting some feedback from the community. For example, like, is this a dog-friendly trail? Would that be possible to just have that as one of the attributes and say like, yes, no, or dog on leash, like something like that? Could that also pop up in that information box?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
also maybe something.
That's actually the template that I used for the trail database has tons of attributes about, the surface of the trail and things like that. I haven't included all of them when you click on the trail because there's a lot of empty ones. So, and you don't want to scroll through a lot of empty fields, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the categories about whether or not it's dog friendly or something like that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Liz. I will probably, I'm thinking that it'll be good to add a few attributes like dog friendly. People want to know, is it stroller friendly? People want to know like the distance. People want to know how difficult it is. So maybe would it be possible to do maybe like elevation gain or maybe, I don't know, terrain? I don't know. I don't know.
If it's,
I don't know about terrain.
If it's information that you have readily available, then possibly, you want to be a little bit aware of the scope of the project in terms of, because we're kind of past the completion date. I know that was all COVID, but, so it's just as long as like it's within scope of the project. So.
All right. Thanks, Liz.
Do we know the length of most of the trails?
Yes, that's in the database, and it should be, well, total. Yes, we do. I put in legend the length of the trail, and if it's broken up, I can total it.
That was one of the questions on your list, wasn't it, Megan? That somebody recommended or a couple of people recommended.
This is Megan. Yeah, that's right, Roberta. People wanted to know like how long the trails were, how difficult they were, whether they were dog friendly and stroller friendly, things like that.
Difficulty is kind of but most of the trails in Ledyard, you don't have a ton of elevation gain. So I think that you're not dealing with, you know, very strenuous elevations. And the elevation gain specifically is a little bit of work to calculate. That would take some time.
Okay, I think I appreciate your insight. Really, the only difficult one I could think of is Glacier because that is a boulder scramble.
Yeah.
And I think everything else would be like moderate, or a few ones would probably be particularly easy, like Colonel Ledyard. And so maybe what I'll do is just send you like a rough difficulty level. I don't know. The thing is, it's so subjective, and so that's why I kind of hesitated to put a difficulty level on it in the first place. But what are everyone else's thoughts?
Well, the other thing is that you've done a pretty good job in the description usually of saying, you know, this is a flat easy, or there's a challenging rock scramble, or a lot of places there's something in the description that talks about trails. So.
I agree with you. I think the only one from Ledyard that it's kind of hard is the Glacier Park, which, you know, has some areas that they're actually kind of deep in all those boulders, but most of them are flat. And if they're dog friendly, that's a big thing too. I usually, when I go hiking, I always search if they're dog friendly because I like to bring my dog. And their trails in Ledyard, like, I mean, we do not take care of it. It's one from the Nature Conservancy, and I think they don't allow dogs. So it's always kind of important to have that.
That challenging one that you're talking about, that actually says on the map, strenuous.
Yeah.
So at that point.
Yeah, but most of the other ones are flat and very little going up and down.
All right, this is Megan. I think we're good to not put in a difficulty attribute then. It seems like what we have is sufficient. And like you were saying, Carmen, the only one I've researched this, the only trail that dogs are not allowed on is Pocatonic Cove, and then other trails, like dogs just have to be on a leash.
Yeah, that's the one that I always have a hard time with that name, but yeah, that's the one that they don't allow.
So maybe that's, if it's possible, you could add a little something on the, I'm sorry, I can't say it, Pocatonic Trail. That's the only one where, you know, maybe a little something in the legend that it's not that dogs are prohibited. So I had a general write-up of all the trails, you know, say all of them are except for, and most of them. I think that a general description which talks about all the trails and gives exceptions might be a little bit more, you know, less time intensive than having that as an attribute that comes up for every single trail, if every single trail is going to have the same. You know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just trying to think of where we could put that. Like if that should be like on the description, maybe of the town-wide map, would that be a good place for it?
Yeah.
I would say though, it depends on how people are going to get to these trails. Like if they're Googling the name of the trail and just the individual one is popping up, then it should be on that one, because like Carmen, we often take our dog and I try to find, like, I'll Google the name of, like, oh, are we going to Pocatonic Cove? I'll Google that first and see if I can find information.
Okay. I'll look at the maps and think if there's a way to just put a standard.
If they're not going to be searchable, like if the searchable thing is going to be the landing page, like if what's going to pop up is list of Ledyard trails, then yeah, put it at the top of that page. But if the individual trails will be searchable, so it depends on how this is going to be set up online.
Or is there like like a dog symbol and like a circle with a line crossing it, and I don't know, like just putting a symbol for, like, if it's dog friendly, there has just a little dog in there. If it's not, then having like a dog with the red line across it. I don't know if that will make it easier, and also it takes less space than writing. Might take less space than writing the whole thing dog friendly or something like that.
Somehow, this is Roberta. Somehow, I don't know if we have to say a lot about dog friendly, because if the leash ordinance passes, there won't be dogs allowed unleashed on any trails. So that's one piece you don't have to think about.
This is Mike. Under the new dog ordinance, the Conservation Commission may designate certain trails as off-leash trails. That's how it presently stands.
Okay, so we just haven't done that yet?
No, we haven't, because I don't believe the town council has made it official yet.
The public hearing
Okay.
is on, this is Mary. The public hearing on the leash ordinance is July 22nd.
Yeah, I think if some of the trails are going to be off leash, then that definitely needs to be on there. That would be important, because some dog owners would avoid that, and then some would seek it. You know, I would avoid it. But.
That makes it become more important to designate those that you are or not allowed to have an off-leash dog.
Well, the other thing is like, have we decided which ones we are allowed to have off leash and which ones are not?
This is Megan. As it stands right now, the Avalonia properties allow leashed dogs. We said Pocatonic Cove does not allow any dogs. And then I think anything else that, like the Conservation Commission properties, as it stands, like there's nothing against taking an unleashed dog on those properties. And so we have all of those situations on the trails.
This is Mike, concerning the proposed leash dog ordinance. That is ways down on the agenda. So a lot of these concerns, we can take it up there.
This is Megan. I guess it's just a matter of like how we're going to, like, we can't annotate this if we don't know. I don't know. Can we annotate this? Sounds like it could change. Or do we just like do a blanket statement? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do here. I don't think there's an easy way to like display the information when it seems like the information isn't set in stone right now for some of them, at least.
If you had a web page that was going to talk about the status of the leash law, you could just have a link or, you know, one reference, so that it's always going to the web page. So if that web page changes, then you've always got updated information. It's a possibility. But then if you print out the maps, you can't really link to that.
This is Megan. Sorry to keep dragging this on, but what if, could we just annotate like, I like the idea, I don't know, I like the idea of, who said it, but something about at least like on specific properties or specific maps saying, you know, like dogs are not allowed on this property, somewhere in the description or legend.
Yeah,
or,
no, I can squeeze it in. It's always
all right.
The danger is, I'll look at them. Always the danger is at some point you're putting too much information in the legend, and then there's only so much space on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So, but I'm sure that there's a place I can find for it. So.
All right, so Liz, should I send you then a list of like specifically which maps to add the dog, leash dogs and the no dogs? Okay, I will do that if everyone is okay with that.
Yep. Any further discussion on that subject? No? And this is Mike. We'll go to the next one, signage for the trail.
Megan, no action on that yet. In the line.
All right, no action. Next agenda item is financial report. Roberta?
Yeah, I think I sent it to you. Do you have it or no?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have, I was able to figure out what the amount is in the trail maintenance fund, which is $4,430. I wasn't really able to figure out exactly what is in the general fund. It looked like 2,000, well, it's starting a new year, so it's 2,050.
I don't believe it has on the start of the new year. That went till June 30th. So it would not include what was left in our budget from the June number included now in the new trail number.
All right, I put it in. All righty. And then we've got, is, like I said, $4,430 in the trail maintenance. And with the new fiscal year, the town passed the budget and allocated to the Conservation Commission $2,050 or $2,075 for our budget.
So that will be the beginning of the new budget for 2021.
This is Mike.
And,
Yes.
and that wasn't sent. The only thing that got sent was to June 30th. That's correct, right?
Yes. Yes. So that was, basically it stands, we've got about $6,500 worth for maintenance, for signs, spray paint.
Correct.
Okay. Next agenda item, open spaces transfer of 79 Vinegar Hill Road. I do believe that has happened. The town has taken possession of that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know who they've assigned that, the administrative control of that to yet. Is there anyone that has any information on that?
I don't have any information on that.
All righty. Next agenda item is the town's proposed leash ordinance. Has everybody seen a copy of it? Basically, the gist of it that for us, for the Conservation Commission, is that the Conservation Commission will be able to designate certain trails off leash with the approval of the town council. Alrighty. It says we may, does not say we shall. In case in the future there are people who it doesn't work, or future commissions don't think it should be there. That's the language that's in there now.
So before this just comes to a discussion on July 22nd. When would it actually get a final vote?
This is Mary, probably on the same note.
So the Conservation Commission would have to make a decision before then?
No, I don't think so. No, the item would be voted, the public hearing is on the 22nd of July. There's also a town council meeting the same night. The agenda is not out yet, but I'm assuming that that issue that ordinance will be on the council agenda.
Okay.
And there's usually 30 days, and I don't know that you would have to submit your recommendations immediately. You know, I think it would be open and that you could submit them whenever. And usually it's around for 30 days, giving the mayor an opportunity to yay or nay it.
So we would have one more meeting at least before the mayor would come to some decision.
Probably July 22nd, August 20th. Yeah, you would have a month. Yes.
I have a question. So
But it would be probably the list of trails would be like an addendum. So it wouldn't necessarily have to be done within that month.
that's what I was going to ask. Like, what's the rush to decide? Like, if the ordinance passes and is approved, it goes into effect, and then if we like at the Conservation Commission a year from now decided they wanted to propose to the town council, oh, such and such a trail should be off leash, that would be allowed, right?
Yes, I'm guessing that, like I said, it would be an addendum, so it wouldn't have to go back to a public hearing. That could be changed, you know, on a recommendation of the council.
Well, that gives us a lot more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think because we're just getting a lot of these trail maps out, we might hear more comments from the public as they use the trail regarding a leash law, which nobody would even think to comment about it now.
Right, right.
This is Mike. I know that there's different opinions within the commission concerning this. And like Mary has said, this is not a decision that has to be made right away. It also says that we may determine some trails. This is going to be on the agenda for, I think, for a while. So we're going to have plenty of time to discuss it.
And change our minds.
This is Mike. The next agenda item is that Project O. Do we have any update or information or concerning that?
I'll prepare for that. What about Project O?
Just, I had mentioned, I know you had mentioned it at the last meeting 4 months ago. And you spoke about it.
The Earth Day program.
The grant.
Oh yeah, that we canceled all, like we kind of shut that program down for now. We worked with our funders for that grant program. We worked with them. I think there may or may not be money left in the budget, and so we may sort of attempt a reboot of that program next year. When it seems like safe to encourage people to gather. So I don't have an update on that right now, but yeah, look for update. I'll let you guys know if we open it up again for groups to apply for that money or those sessions. But
So should it come off our agenda going forward till you bring back more information?
yeah, it shouldn't be on our agenda. I'll let you know what the deal is. If it becomes an opportunity again that the commission might take advantage of, or that we might just pass on to people, to organizations to take advantage of.
This is Mike. Okay, that sounds good. This is Mike. Is there any other new business to come before the commission? Excuse me, old business to come before the commission?
This is Megan. I have some, but I can wait.
You can.
Somebody else talking, so.
Megan, this is Julie. I was actually just wondering if we skipped over the Hike Ledyard program.
Oh,
I think we did.
Okay, that was all.
Okay. So for other old business, I just want to make sure, as far as paying for the trail mapping, that hasn't happened yet, and I want to make sure that that does not get lost in the paperwork. Liz sent the bill to, it has to go to the mayor, right? It goes from your director to the mayor. Is that right? And I don't remember when that happened, but I think it was like months ago. Like it was after our last meeting. So I want to say sometime in like March or early April that you'd mentioned, I think you sent the bill.
Probably early April, because we bill on a quarterly basis. So like the last quarter, I haven't put together the quarterly report, but you'll be getting another bill. So you probably got it in April. And I mentioned something to our office manager, and she said, it's not a very large contract. I mean, maybe it is for you guys, but for us, it's not. So, and I know that Jim, our executive director, is pretty, everyone's having issues with keeping things moving with COVID. So I wouldn't worry about it that much in terms of,
Well, we have the money to do it, so I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
like, that we're not holding you up, or I want to make sure it happens.
Right.
So I'm not sure what should the next step be. Like you said, we're going to get another bill, but it sounds like it's going to go to the mayor, because I mean there was nothing in the Conservation Commission mailbox, Mike said.
Oh,
right, Mike.
So maybe it did go to the mayor, and then I'm not sure.
Would it be possible to send it directly to us, or does it have to go to the mayor?
I don't know. I'll ask one to be sent to you. I thought I did that, but maybe it just didn't get to you. I'll check with the office manager to see where it went.
All right, because I think if we at least get a copy, then we could use that, right, Roberta, to pay the bill.
Well, I believe that if the mayor got it, we voted on that at a meeting. So, that we would pay for it out of our budget, and that got voted on. So I would think if it came and if he submitted it, it would have shown to come out of our budget already. That's usually the way it works when I take something in. I'll say it was in the minutes of such and such a meeting, and she says, okay, and then she takes it and gets it paid.
Okay, so maybe we just need to
the next step, I'll just check where it went.
Yeah.
Whether or not
See if it went to the mayor, and we can always follow up with him and say, is there a bill that got forwarded to the finance department to pay, because that should come out of the trail account, I believe, because it's for trails, right?
Right, but it hasn't been paid yet.
No, it did not come out yet. Not at all. Nope.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a piece that would be important to follow up, that he knows it's going to come out of the trail budget, not our regular budget. Would that be a good idea to follow up that way, Mike?
yes. What I'll do is when he comes back from vacation, the mayor, I'll contact him and see if I can track this down.
Yeah, because I think that we would rather have some of that money spent out of that trail budget, or it's going to look like too much is going to be in it.
Well, aren't you guys also on a fiscal year? So
yeah, just finished.
Does your budget go to the end of June?
Yes.
Right. So, well, I'll check when I get back in the office tomorrow where it went.
Thank you.
And then, so we haven't discussed I wanted to go over the Hike Ledyard server responses, but real quick before I do, I don't know if you guys remember that I had scheduled to present on the trails at the library in April. And that was, of course, canceled. But in January, I reached out to Amanda Hutchinson from the Day, just to like letting her know that, you know, this trail mapping was going on, and also that presentation was going on, and just to like try to get the word out. And she was planning on going to the presentation, and it all fell through. But anyway, she reached out to me like, I don't know, a month ago, and was like, hey, how's the trail mapping going? And she wants to talk about the project, like why it happened, and like what, just to get more about the project, which I think would be good to draw some more publicity to it. So I want to let you guys know that right now that's, I don't know, that she's interested in that, and want to hear your thoughts on that. If you think it's okay for me to go ahead and talk to her about the project. Is there any opposition to that?
This is Mike. I have no problems with it.
All right. I think it's just more informational, and I think it will, I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like it'll probably precede when the maps are available to the public, but I think it will at least like generate some interest in it, and I think it'll be good to get it out there. So
I agree.
And even it, this is Roberta, even if that's included in her article that it'll be coming out soon, so, you know, keep your eye out for it or something, or look on the website, wherever it's going to be able to be connected to. If she referenced that with a future date, maybe that would even allow her to put a short blurb in at a later time once it's up and running online.
Good point. Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'll mention that. Is there anyone else that'd be interested in speaking to her? Molly, I know that you're working on like points of interest, or like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, I started that, and then the we have some vulnerable family members, so we stopped going to a lot of the crowded trails in the spring. So that stalled out a little bit, but I've been going by myself to some of them. So I'm happy to participate. And that gives me a deadline to get those lists and pictures together.
All right, so if it's all right with you, I'll pass her your email address so that she can work out getting in touch with you too then.
Yeah.
All right.
We could, might be good to do like a three-way Zoom rather than separate conversations if she wants to do it.
Okay. Okay. And then I know we're an hour into this meeting, so I'll try not to go too long into the survey responses. But basically, in March, at the beginning of like when everything, I think like right before everything shut down, I sent out this survey. It was about a potential hike Ledyard program. It's too bad that we didn't, I don't know. It is what it is. So there are 64 responses, which I was really happy about. We put this out into the Ledyard Facebook group. 75% of people said yes, they'd be interested, and the rest of people said tell me more, basically. I did the math, and it came out to like at least 188 people that'd be interested in participating. I asked about what kind of reward people would like. A t-shirt was the #1 choice, followed by a reusable tote. You guys already all saw this. How would people prefer to keep track of their hiking progress? Most people, 43% of people said I prefer to take a picture at each trail location. And then followed by 35%, I prefer to keep track on my own. So I think doing something like that, if we were to do a hike Ledyard program, like having people like take pictures, even if it's at the trail sign, because I would love to keep this accessible. And so I know a lot of people like can't even, well, some people might not be able to like do the whole hike or a trail. And so even just like going to the trailhead, I think is worth celebrating and taking a picture. I think we should totally have a hike Ledyard hashtag. And then I did ask a few open-ended questions about encouraging the use of Ledyard's trails and what people thought were, what was an obstacle to people getting out there. And by far the biggest obstacle that came up was people just don't know about them. And so it's one reason why I'm so excited about this mapping project, because I think it's really gonna, I want to say like put the trails on the map, but I think it's will really overcome that obstacle. But people have also asked for maps available was like twice as much as any other thing that came up. People also suggested having events or guided walks, better advertising, printed brochures. Parking came up. It seems like people were not sure about, like parking was not clearly labeled, or that there wasn't a big parking area. People asked for better trail signage and trail markers and more information about the trails. People are interested in volunteer opportunities, multi-use trails and trail activities like letterboxing, geocaching, things like that. And then, and then there are other obstacles to hiking in Ledyard, like physical deterrents. People said like ticks, some of the trails aren't well maintained, maybe they're hard to follow. Again, parking issues came up. I didn't realize that parking was such a big issue, but apparently it is for a lot of people. No maps, lack of signage, and then just not having the information about the trails. And so I'm really hoping that getting these maps out will, that a lot more people will be able to use the trails that, that are in town. So anyone else have any thoughts or anything on the surveys? That's all I have, really.
This is Mike. I sat there and dissected all of your figures. I came up with the same conclusions you did. T-shirts and totes. They want to keep track of themselves with pictures along the way. And the by far, the biggest concern was nobody knows they exist and where they are. I think that once we get the maps published and online, we put something in that quarterly Ledyard magazine there, we start spreading the word out. I think that's going to address a lot of that. Let's
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing all that. That's a lot of work. I'm really appreciative.
Thanks. It's been fun. I like seeing the data, and it's been fun. It has been a lot of work. I'll be very excited when it's all over. But it has been fun. And in terms of like we talked about, doing this in conjunction with the Parks and Rec, like this, the Hike Ledyard program could be something that people register for. There's a lot of details that we could go into about it, but I think just getting the thoughts and ideas from the community is a really good place to start, and helps direct where this could go.
I think it also does let us know there is interest.
Yeah. So that's all I have on that. I think I guess moving forward, we probably want to figure out like how exactly, like I think it'd be good to either present this or get this information to Parks and Rec somehow, and maybe like I don't know if we want to propose some kind of program. I personally like the idea of, and I don't know how realistic this is, but maybe like the first 250 people who register get like a free sticker or something, and then I don't know. I haven't really thought very far into this, because like t-shirts are probably like, I did look at this. T-shirts are like $10. Totes are like a little less. Who's going to pay for that? Like that's talking about like that could potentially be a huge cost depending on how many people complete it. So I don't know if we like ask people to like, I don't know if that's on people to pay for, or like how. I know the Parks and Rec has a much bigger budget than we do. And so I think we'll have to at some point, probably not tonight, but maybe like think about how, now that we like know kind of the direction maybe that we want to get started in, think of like formulating a program and how we want to work with Parks and Rec on this.
Hi, this is Liz. I don't know what the cost is comparative to a t-shirt or a tote, but some of you guys are probably aware Connecticut Forest and Park has a patch that they give people when they've completed the Metacomet, or I can't remember how many trails you have to complete, but once you've, it's on the honor system, but once you've completed it, you get a patch. So I don't know how pricey patches are, but.
Yeah, I did look into it, and people weren't, 20% of people said they'd be interested in a patch, and like more than double said they'd be interested in a t-shirt or reusable tote. And so I think we started in that direction, but I think we're kind of moving away from it. I don't know if it's like, here's the design, people can choose what item they want to put it on or what, and maybe, I don't know, but just something to think about moving, in the future. But I'm excited about it. Could be really big for Ledyard.
I think I've been involved in other organizations that, like, there was the Belknap Mountain organization up in New Hampshire that my family used to be part of, and they had a patch program, but actually like you had to buy the patch. But just once you had hiked all the mountains in that little range, then you would send in your form and your $40. It was like an expensive patch.
Oh, that's good to know. I don't know how other organizations do it. I'm more than happy to ask people to like pay for it themselves, but I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Donation to the. I mean, it was like pitched as like you get this patch and you're making a donation. Like that was kind of a part of it. It wasn't a town entity that was running it. It was, a private conservation organization. But like, we didn't object to paying for the patch. So I wouldn't want to price it like that, but $5, people might think $5 is reasonable for a t-shirt. Or
I should have put that as a question on there. And then would you be willing to pay for it? Oh, all right.
Any old business?
Sorry. I was just going to say, I have read some things sometimes that people don't think it's worth, if things are free, they don't think it's valuable. So even asking for a small amount, like, puts a level of value on things.
All right, I appreciate that. I think probably I'll need to meet with Parks and Rec to like, I at least think it's important to show them like what people are interested in, and maybe I'll come up with like a proposal for a program that I can, talk about at our next conservation meeting. And if anyone has any like thoughts on it, maybe I'll send it out. I don't know. If you have any thoughts on it, send it to me while I'm putting it together, and I'll send it out for you guys to review before our next meeting. Is everyone okay with that? That's kind of a lot, but. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
I feel like you're not even allowed to pay for it till you hike them all. Like, these people are cool. Like we don't even want your money till then.
Is Mike?
Everyone.
Is there any other old business coming before the commission? In that case, we'll move on to new business. Roberta asked me to put on the house boat landing on the agenda. Is there something you want to discuss about it?
Yes, thank you. This is Roberta. A number of years ago, the first year I was on the commission, the commission in coordination with town crew and the Ledyard Garden Club cleaned up Pocatonic Boat Launch. There's a bench that was put in place dedicated to Mr. Haase, and a lot of native plants were planted on the spot. It's not big at all. It's quite a small space, but it is the only public boat launch on Pocatonic Cove. There's one down by the bridge, but it's only got a place, I think, for one car or something like that. And you can only launch things like boat top, kayaks, canoes, because you have to go under the railroad bridge to get out to the Thames River. So that's just a brief idea of how it might be used. But there's a lot of information available from other agencies who have done bird surveys and plant surveys and all kinds of information about Pocatonic Cove, which I got from the two people who ran this cleanup. And I don't believe we have any copies, so I want to put them in our file so they'll be available going forward. And I was mostly looking for finding out if I would have permission to go and do some more cleanup there, because if you sit on the bench, you don't see anything because it's so overgrown that all you have is weeds in front of you. And the trees have grown so much that most of the plantings under them aren't doing great because of the excess growth on the trees. So I mostly didn't want to walk down there and start doing anything and having the neighbors come over and say, get out of here, or you shouldn't be doing this, or whatever. So I didn't know quite how to approach it, and I figured since we were having this meeting, the best thing to do was bring it to the commission and ask for suggestions on how to go forward so this becomes a usable area again.
All right, this is Mike. The boat landing is under the jurisdiction of Parks and Rec. They are responsible.
Oh, I thought it was conservation.
No, it is not. It's Parks and Rec. And anything that's ever done down there is usually done by Public Works when they request. I requested them about 2 or 3 years ago because there were some complaints about it was overgrown and stuff like that. And I guess Parks and Rec took care of it. If you contacted them, Parks and Rec, and that, you know, made that proposal to them and see what they say. Now, I don't know whether you're going to run afoul of the union that has, you know, Public Works or not, supposedly doing their work, but I would speak, you know, to the over there at Parks and Rec.
I'll speak to Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll talk to Scott.
I mean,
So
Public
we
Works
got-
might not care one way or the other, but I'm just saying that may be something I've run into in the past when I've had to do things like that.
So when we did the work there, because the Conservation Commission had a work party that went there, we did that with the permission of Parks and Rec.
That was set up by Peg, right? Exactly
I know, right.
what she went through to get permission from who and what. I'm not exactly sure. I'm the one that cut down the trees over there. I'm the one that killed the poison ivy and stuff like that. So I was part of those work parties.
Right, because I have your picture with a chainsaw in front of you. All right, well, I'll either get a hold of Robin or Peg, and then I will proceed to Parks and Rec and find out how to go ahead.
Yep.
But I didn't realize that. I thought it was our area, but because it didn't have a trail, we've never addressed it. So I had that wrong. So when we have a conversation and Pocatonic Cove is mentioned, what trail are we talking about?
That would be the nature conservatories, right down the road.
So it's not, it's not under Conservation Commission. It's the Nature Conservancy.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I got it. Thank you.
Next item is just, it's a Lantern Hill Valley Save the Sound Fishway. I'm kind of more of telling you, I've been doing some work with this group, the Lantern Hill Valley Association. Basically what they're doing is they contacted us earlier in the year looking for a letter of support for a grant they were going to apply for. And the grant was to do the design work and the study to put a fishway in one of the dams that leads up Whitford Brook up into, well, down from Long Pond. At that time, I wrote him back and I said, look, we're not meeting. I can't write you a letter from the Conservation Commission without having a meeting and discussion. And they understood. What I did do was I contacted the mayor, and on behalf of just myself, I expressed that I thought that he would please write a letter. I'm under the understanding that he did give them a letter of support. They're awaiting the decision on whether they're going to get the grant. Part of this is to create a fishway for herring and eels. Basically, they come up from Mystic. You know where the pond used to be, Hyde Pond on Route 138, and the intersection is Juville? They're the group that removed that dam, right? So the fish go up there. You go further up, you have Whitford Pond. I think 3 years ago, that dam failed. So now the herring can get up that way. So what they want to do is they want to now create a fishway so they can get up into Long Pond and spawn. And they're going to try to rejuvenate basically a herring run that used to exist here. At this time, they're not looking for anything from us, any support or anything like that, because they're still awaiting this grant. But in the future, they would like to, you know, have us on board with them for this project. And so I told them I would bring it up before the commission, discuss it, kind of put everybody, get them all brought up to speed, as this may come up with us in the future.
Is the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District also involved in that, or is it separate from their alewife and eel restoration efforts?
This is Mike. From what I understand, they're working with Save the Sound, and they're working, Save the Sound is working with National Wildlife something or other. It's not the official government one.
So this is Bill Lucy from Save the Sound, right? Is that the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I guess that's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they're doing is they're working through there. They're the ones that did the project at Hyde Park or Hyde Pond, right? And then when the pond drained, they revegetated the banks and stuff like that with native plants. So this is an ongoing project that they've got going.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good to me. I'm much more familiar with the ECCD one at the Hallville Pond, one up in Preston. Have you guys all seen the fish ladder?
Yep.
Up there at Hallville Pond? It's worth checking. If you go to Preston Community Park and just go a little further, it's right there, and you can't walk right up to it, but you can see it really clearly through the chain link fence. It's right across from that old brick factory. But they were talking, I know that they have, like, the ECCD folks have grand visions of restoring that, like continuing up that run and restoring upstream of that. So I didn't know if it was a coordinated effort. But.
No, they're two separate efforts. I know that Save the Sound has another effort, but I think it's down by Old Saybrook somewhere in that vicinity that they're also got a project going.
I think they were also working on ones out Pawcatuck Westerly.
Hi, this is Liz.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to sign off. I enjoyed meeting you guys all, and yeah, I'll get back with Megan on all the questions that you guys had and the concerns that you raised. But a great group, and I hope to see you guys again.
Thanks again, Liz. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
So that's basically just keep you, get everybody up to speed onto what they're doing, because they may ask for our help in the future. Basic support letters or perhaps volunteers or whatever. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Do they have some kind of a newsletter that would keep us informed?
The Lanton Hill Valley Association does have a Facebook page, and they also have a website. It is in their I don't know the word, station based. They are local. They are in Ledyard.
Okay.
Is there any other new business to come before the commission?
This is Mary. I have a question. Where is Liz from?
This is Megan. Liz is from CCOG, the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governance.
Government. Oh, the COG. She's from the COG.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
If there is no other business, could I have a motion for adjournment? I see one. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Alrighty. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good, everyone. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, you too. Congratulations. Grandpa.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I don't look quite like one yet, but he's a cutie.
Oh, can't wait to see pictures.
Oh, trust me, I got a ton of them. I think my whole Facebook page is her now. But we definitely will show you guys.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.